Hello all, 4-Player Squad Gaming here, and this is our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series. The Antitower is a level 60 duty, which is part of the main story quest line and is featured during the quest, The Word of the Mother. The quest giver is Alphino in the Rising Stones. It is also worth mentioning that at the time of recording this video, 40 Tomestones of Poetics are awarded upon completion. So without further ado, let's dive into the guide. Start this duty by heading towards the first Roggo River Tamer. Once engaged, 2 more adds will spawn. Clear this set quickly, being mindful of a paralysis debuff. This can and should be cleansed. Once clear, head onto the flashing platform to be flung forward onto the next walkway. Once again, engage the River Tamer and 2 more adds will spawn. This time, the only thing to watch out for is a small circular AoE. Clear this set, head onto the flashing platform and spring up to the next walkway. Engage the 3rd River Tamer, and this time we will have 2 waves of adds spawn. Cleanse the paralysis if necessary and dodge the circular AoE. Advance onto the platform towards our first boss. Our first boss is Zuro Roggo. The tank should gain enmity and face the boss away from the party, whilst the party deals damage as usual. During this fight, the boss will use Water Bomb. This multiple circular AoE needs to be avoided as it deals moderate damage. When Zuro summons 2 floating bubbles, we need to stand clear of these as to avoid the exploding point blank burst damage when they pop. The boss will also use Odious Croak. This pulsing frontal cone AoE will deal damage to anyone stood in front of Zuro. Simply move out of the way to avoid the damage. Later in the fight, Zuro will recenter and summon 2 Quiet Toads. During this time, 2 players will be debuffed with Toad and will be unable to attack. These players will also be targeted with repeat water bombs, so make sure to keep mobile. The unaffected party members need to kill the Quiet Toads quickly to end the Toad debuff. After the Toad phase, the boss will use Toy Hammer on the main enmity threat. This hard-hitting tank buster will also stun the tank. The concussion debuff can be cleansed and should be, as Zuro will cast Odious Croak on the stunned tank, dealing heavy damage if not removed. Keep up the damage as the mechanics mentioned rotate. Squash this frog, pick up your loot and proceed. Once in the lower reaches, make your way down the stairs and clear the mimic adds, and pick up the loot in the treasure coffer. Head down the next stairs towards the Spriggan doorkeeper. Once engaged, 2 fire homunculus adds will appear from the doors. Make sure to gain enmity and then focus down the doorkeeper. The longer the doorkeeper lives, the more adds will flood out from the doors. Once the keeper is down, the doors will make a door bridge for us to proceed. On the next platform, clear the Marylifts. Being mindful of a circular AoE, avoid as necessary. Pick up the loot and proceed down once more. Be mindful not to take extra damage from the floating objects rushing across the stairway. Once on the next platform, focus down the doorkeeper and the Marylith will reanimate in the centre. Clear the Marylith and the homunculus and proceed towards boss fight number 2. The second boss is Ziggy. Start this fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity and the party dealing damage. We need to avoid the large frontal cone AoE from jittering glare. Soon after, the boss will summon 3 Stardust adds. These need to be focused and killed quickly as their point blank AoE will grow bigger the longer they are left alive. Avoid these point blank AoEs and keep up the damage on Ziggy. Ziggy will take careful aim at one party member and tether to them, indicated by a hit marker. Failure to cancel this cast by hiding behind one of the left behind Stardust will result in a stacking vulnerability up debuff on the player and some damage dealt. Ziggy will use Gyrating Glare, which will deal area-wide damage and destroy the Stardusts. Shortly after this, a Spriggan Gem Cutter ad will spawn and 4 Stardusts. We need to kill the Stardust first and then quickly focus the Gem Cutter, whilst also avoiding Jittering Glare. Stand in the safe spot and finish Ziggy off. Pick up your loot and proceed through the door. We will then arrive in the upper reaches, and as you may have noticed, something doesn't seem right here. Proceed along the ceiling until you are ambushed by Wind-Up Viking and Magus adds. They have a frontal and circular AoE to avoid. Once clear, head towards the upside down door and 2 centaur adds will spawn. Be mindful of a large point blank AoE, either interrupt or avoid. The centaurs can also use Berserk, buffing their damage. Once they have been cleared, head through the door and further up the ceiling walkway. You will be ambushed by more Viking and Magus adds. Clear these and head towards the second upside down door. We will have multiple waves of adds here, starting with a Magus and Viking, then another Magus and Viking, then another Magus and Viking and 2 centaurs. During the final wave there can be multiple AoEs to avoid, so make sure to keep mobile or interrupt as many as possible. Once clear, head through towards the final boss fight. Enjoy the short cutscene. After being horrified by the cutscene, we arrive at our final boss. The final boss is Calcabrina. Start this fight by clearing all of the Calca and Brina ads. The order is not important, however be mindful of donut AoEs from the Brina ads and frontal cone AoEs from the Calca ads. Once they have all been killed, they will merge together to form the true boss, Calcabrina. Gain enmity and face the boss away from the party. Almost immediately, Calcabrina will target a random party member with terrifying glance, indicated by the red eye marker on them. The player marked needs to face away from Calcabrina, negating the attack. Failure to do so will debuff the player with confused, making them auto-attack another party member. Calcabrina has a heavy hitting tank buster in the form of Knockout. Use damage reduction abilities or get ready to heal as necessary. Calcabrina will also use Brace. This ability will put shields around herself, blocking and repelling all damage from 3 directions. The party needs to deal damage to the boss while facing her front. The main mechanic we need to watch out for is Dollhouse. This ability will transform 2 random party members into a Brina and Calca ad. They will be debuffed with fetters and bleed, being unable to act and taking damage over time. The transformed players will dance around the arena using the same donut AoE and frontal cone AoE as before. The unaffected players need to kill the Brina and Calca ads quickly to return the party members to normal, especially if the healer has been transformed. During this time, Calcabrina will constantly be pulsing out damage from Slapstick. Once all the players are free, the aforementioned abilities will rotate until Calcabrina is down. And there you have it, the Antitower is complete. Remember to commemorate the player you believe deserves it most and pick up your loot. We give this trial a difficulty rating 2 out of 5 swords. This duty is relatively simple, with the hardest part being able to sleep after fighting Calcabrina. The special loot for this dungeon includes the Dravanian equipment and accessories eye level 195, the Brina and Calca minions, the dancing Calcabrina orchestrion roll, the faded copy of the Down the Up Staircase orchestrion roll, and the Calcabrina card. Remember to like, comment, and if you haven't already, click to subscribe. Up next is the Lost City of Antitower Hard. We are 4-Player Squad Gaming. Thanks for watching.